So in this video, we're going to talk about one of the best upgrades or the most important ingredient in getting your boots to fit well. We're going to talk about footbeds. So hello and welcome to my channel. You join me here in Seoul Boot Lab Chamonix, and we're doing a 4-part series on how to get ski boots to fit you the best. If you haven't seen the other videos in this series, I'd strongly recommend you check those out first. The first one was about choosing the right category of ski boots, and the second was helping you choose the right shell model. I'll leave a link for those up here and also down in the description. So before we carry on, make sure that you're subscribed down there and you've got the bell notifications turned on. That way you're not going to miss the subsequent video on this topic and also other things that I'm posting on my channel. So on our journey to find ski boots that fit us the best, we've had a look at category selection, we've had a look at how to choose a shell that's going to work really well for our feet. The next step is to figure out which shell size, or rather length, you can fit your meaty little leg stumps into. Here I have a model of a human foot, and feet contain 25% of the bones in the human body. Therefore, they also contain 25% of the joints. Those joints are held together by tendons, ligaments, muscle, cartilage, and they're very complex and perfectly designed for walking around on sand, mud, vegetation. It's certainly not evolved to be shoved into a rigid plastic ski boot. However, there are certain things that we can do to give our feet a comfortable platform to stand in all day, and that's where a footbed comes in. So here I have 3 examples of different footbeds that you might see in ski boots, and this one here is a stock footbed from Lang. Most stock footbeds are the same. They offer you very little in the way of support. There's no arch support, there's no heel support. You know, it's basically just a soft cushion that you can stand on, and it feels quite nice when you first put that ski boot on, but after a few days that's going to pack down and it's just going to be basically useless. So unfortunately, something like this is probably the least best option to have in the bottom of your ski boots. Something like this from Superfeet is a vast improvement, but it's an off-the-shelf orthotic. It's basically designed for a kind of generic foot, middle of the road kind of foot. So it's not really custom shaped to your foot shape and size, and it's not going to give you that kind of next level of feeling whilst you're skiing. So a custom molded footbed like this is not only, I think, money really well spent, but it's also, I think, crucial in getting the best fit from your ski boots. I can pretty much guarantee that all the best skiers in the world have a custom molded insole of some description. But just because the best skiers in the world use them doesn't mean that you're not also going to get a benefit from them as well. So a human foot has 3 arches: the transverse arch at the front of the foot here, the medial longitudinal arch, and the lateral longitudinal arch. The medial longitudinal arch is the arch that causes people the most problems because that's supported by muscle underneath the foot, and that can collapse if it's not properly supported. Now, for a caveman running around on mud that's supporting that arch, that wasn't so much of a problem, but for us, standing in a rigid ski boot, that arch can collapse very easily, especially when we're putting a lot of G-force through a turn. The problem with that arch collapsing is our foot will grow in length, and you can actually try this out at home. You can sit down, you can take a piece of paper, put it on the floor, and measure the length of your foot when you're not stood on it, and then stand up onto one foot, and you should see that your foot grows a little bit as you do that. In order for us to get the best fit from our ski boots, we need to make sure that the length is as close to the end of our toes as possible without it being uncomfortable. So if we can control that elongation or spread by using a custom molded footbed, then we can get the shell size smaller, and a smaller shell size equals a closer fit all around the foot, which is going to give you a better sensation when you're skiing. The other problem with that arch collapsing is the bones in our leg aren't moving in a stable linear trajectory. This can cause misalignment in our knees and our hips. So stabilizing the arch in this foot not only controls elongation, but also controls the stability of your lower leg. So these 3 models show the same foot in 3 different phases. We have supinated or rolled outwards, and as you can see, the arch is growing here, and the toes are curling up. We've got overpronated, and as you can see, the arch is flattening out, and this tendon and muscle is being stretched, and the foot is extending in length. And here we have neutral, and this is what we're trying to achieve with a custom molded footbed. For skiing, we want a neutral position like this, and that will allow us to flex forward in a linear trajectory. The process of making custom molded footbeds is very hands-on. So these are the constituent parts of a footbed, and the process starts by making a cast of your foot and heating up this element so it's moldable to the shape of your foot. They can then be molded in that cast, and after they've cooled and set to the shape of your foot, they're further heated and molded to make the front part flat to give you a nice platform for your toes. Then it's trimmed to fit into the ski boot you'll be using. Remember, they typically only work with one ski boot, so if you have a downhill boot, for example, and a free touring boot, you would need kind of two different insoles for those. Then they are sanded and ground down to make the edges fit perfectly into the liner and give you the optimal comfort. This means you can now get an accurate and stable foot size, and that means you can choose the shell size that fits your foot. So the fourth and final step of getting boots to fit well is choosing a liner. We're going to talk about that in another video, so we're going to leave it here for now. So thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you've got any specific questions about anything to do with ski boots, then you can leave a comment down below, and either myself or the guys from Seoul Boot Lab will respond to those. So cheers guys, I'll see you next time.